Raise your hands. How many of you love the Super Saiyan 4 transformation? It's definitely one of the best designed and most unique forms in the entire franchise, so it's a shame that we've only ever seen it in non-canon material such as Dragon Ball GT and Heroes. Regardless, a lot of people love this form, and ever since the revival of Dragon Ball in 2013's Battle of Gods, I've noticed a lot of fans wanting to see Super Saiyan 4 make its canonical return. But that begs the question, does Dragon Ball Super need Super Saiyan 4, or do people only want it back for nostalgic purposes? We're gonna talk all about it right now. How's it going, everyone? InnovativeJdawg here, and welcome back to yet another Dragon Ball discussion. In today's video, I wanted to focus solely on Super Saiyan 4, a fan favorite transformation in the series. Today's topic is going to revolve around the idea of Super Saiyan 4 popping up somewhere in Dragon Ball Super's story, and I'm going to answer whether DBS needs Super Saiyan 4 or not. Now, I want you to know right from the start, this is not going to be a video revolving around how Super Saiyan 4 could come back. That will be its own video that I have planned relatively soon. But instead, this video will focus on if it needs to come back, and on top of that, if it should. I've been wanting to make this video for quite some time, and I figured now was the perfect opportunity, because if you've read Chapter 69 of the Dragon Ball Super manga, the Super Saiyan 4 speculation train has come back around. With that in mind, just know that I will be touching upon some slight spoilers for that chapter, so go read it, check out my review for it, and then come back here. But before we dive deep into the video, make sure you smash that thumbs up button so that other Dragon Ball fans can see this video as well, and also subscribe to this channel so you can stay up to date on all of my Dragon Ball content, since I make a ton of it. With all that being said, let's get right into it. Alright, so if you've read Chapter 69 of DBS, and if you've been around the community ever since it dropped, you may have seen a few comments and discussions being tossed around about Super Saiyan 4 possibly returning. For longtime Dragon Ball fans, this discussion isn't really anything new, because there's always been that small group of fans who think Goku, Vegeta, or even some other character will just randomly go Super Saiyan 4. For the longest time, these ideas have just been regarded as GT fans wanting to see their favorite form return in canonized material. They want it to be officially recognized, even though SSJ4 is getting a lot of love over in the DB Heroes promotional anime. But ever since Dragon Ball Super Broly, the idea of Super Saiyan 4 one day becoming canon has actually become a legitimate theory. If you all recall from Dragon Ball GT, Super Saiyan 4 is not a form that's achieved through regular methods, meaning that you can't transform into it solely through emotional desires like with the regular Super Saiyan. Instead, it's a form that can be attained after the user has become a Golden Uzaru and has regained substantial control of their consciousness within that Great Ape form. With that in mind, Super Saiyan 4 is a pretty unique transformation, not just in design, but also in terms of how to achieve it in the first place, as you can't magically tap into it, nor can you train your body into obtaining it. But that was in Dragon Ball GT. In Dragon Ball Super Broly, we saw Broly unleash his Ikari state, which is a state that allows the user to access the powers of the basic Great Ape transformation. But yet they don't actually transform into that Great Ape appearance. Instead, their body is engulfed in a greenish aura, which may or may not just be tied to Broly's own unique color of aura. We don't know enough about this form otherwise, and their physical features slightly change, kinda like the false Super Saiyan form or Super Saiyan power. They bulk up in muscle mass, their hair becomes spikier, and most notably, their eyes transition into a solid yellow color, which is a huge homage to the yellow eyes of the Super Saiyan 4. So naturally, everybody was theorizing that Broly's Ikari state was actually the precursor to Super Saiyan 4 and would serve a similar role to the Golden Uzaru that we saw in GT. If Broly or any other character who achieved the Ikari state were able to control that transformation, it could potentially be possible for Super Saiyan 4 to return. We just haven't seen it yet. And a lot of the Dragon Ball community accepted this theory, even those who preferred the newer God forms and didn't really want to see Super Saiyan 4 come back. It was just way too convenient for the Ikari form to bear so many characteristics and early concepts of the Super Saiyan 4 form, and its entire setup was basically leading into a canonized version of SSJ4 that we may still see in the future. But let's move on from Broly's Ikari state, since we can go more in depth with that another day. Let's fast forward to chapter 69 of the Dragon Ball Super manga. We all know that Vegeta has started his training with Beerus in hopes of achieving a new technique that matches the powers of a god of destruction. As of now, fans can only theorize what this technique will be, with many fans speculating that Vegeta is just gonna learn about the Hakai technique and nothing more. Or he could possibly tap into a new god of destruction form, similar to what we saw with Toppo, that would potentially have purple hair. I've talked about this pretty extensively in recent videos, but ever since chapter 69 dropped, I've seen a lot of people theorize that this new god of destruction technique could tie back into the history of the Saiyans, and therefore this new technique will be a godly revamp of Super Saiyan 4, a form that was tied to the feral nature of the Saiyan people. While that certainly is possible, since the future of DBS is unknown and absolutely anything could happen and surprise us, I think this theory has just been misinterpreted and blown way out of proportion. Fans are thinking that just because Vegeta questioned what Saiyan history has to do with this new destruction technique, and Beerus retorted by saying that the two actually coincide together, they automatically jump to the conclusion that the secret behind Beerus' technique is actually tied to the Saiyans. Like I said, it's very much possible since we know that Beerus is deeply connected to Saiyan history, and hey, it would be really cool if a Saiyan form revolved around God of Destruction powers, but I personally think that this was just a simple case of confusion. In the fight that follows, we see Beerus express that the reason as to why he's so powerful is due to his lack of concern for his past, which is the direct opposite of what we saw Vegeta doing in that same chapter. Vegeta is wanting to seek out this new technique, but will be unable to do so until he throws aside his feeling of guilt for the sins that the Saiyans have committed, because that feeling of guilt will only drag him down. But by releasing all that doubt that weighs down his soul and by freeing himself of past mistakes, Beerus states that Vegeta will be able to grow if his mind is solely focused on destruction. I mainly just wanted to address that theory in this video since I know a lot of fans out there, they're just gonna get their hopes up thinking that we'll see Vegeta tap into a godly Super Saiyan 4 form, when this was just one big confusion for audience members. Besides, I would much prefer it if Vegeta ended up getting a God of Destruction form similar to Toppo's, hopefully with purple hair, because that would be something new that we haven't seen before, and it wouldn't be restricted to his Saiyan genetics. The most likely way for Super Saiyan 4 to return is actually through Broly himself, so we're gonna backpedal to him for a second. His Ikari state is the most likely gateway into getting a canonized version of Super Saiyan 4, because it ties to that feral nature of the Saiyan species, which is what Super Saiyan 4 is supposed to represent. SSJ4 is not supposed to be this calm, godly presence like what we see with Super Saiyan Blue. It's supposed to be brutal, powerful, messy, and feral, which ties in perfectly to the wrathful nature of Broly's Ikari state. Now, I already know some of you out there are going to be typing on your keyboards right now trying to prove me wrong, saying that destruction is brutal and messy, but you know what? If it's a godly version of Super Saiyan 4, you still need to have that divine presence, which Super Saiyan 4 does not have. Again, Super Saiyan 4 is supposed to be this raw, untapped potential that is just feral and beast-like. That doesn't really match up with a god who is supposed to be the king of some sorts, you know what I'm saying? God forms are divine, they're peaceful, they're smooth, whereas Super Saiyan 4 is rugged, you know? Anyways, if we ever see Broly return, which hopefully we see him run into Granola sometime during this arc, which again, I made a whole video talking about this subject, and it's actually one of my favorite ideas for this entire arc, so I would love if Broly got some time to train with other characters such as Goku, whether that be in this arc or in an arc sometime in the future, where he could possibly train under Goku alongside other characters. By training with Goku, he would not only be able to gain a substantial control over his Super Saiyan form, similar to what Kale had done, but he could potentially find ways to ascend beyond the forms that he already has. I think it would be pretty cool if the three pure-blooded Saiyans all had different pathways for getting stronger. For example, Goku would get stronger through angelic power by mastering Ultra Instinct, a technique that ties back to his roots as a martial artist. Vegeta could go down this new God of Destruction path and obtain a destructive form or power that would rival Goku's Ultra Instinct state, but he would have some pretty cool purple hair. and maybe this could all tie into his role as a Saiyan of royalty, or maybe because he has a destructive personality, I don't know. Then finally, Broly would get stronger by tapping into the raw feral nature of the Saiyans. He would get stronger by achieving non-godly forms like Super Saiyan 4, but because of how powerful he naturally is, he'd be able to contend with Goku and Vegeta, just like what we saw in DBS Broly. I don't know, I feel like there's a lot of potential for this topic, highlighting the different evolutions of strength that these characters could go through. If you want to ever see me make a video going into further detail about this topic, then let me know in the comments. But now that begs the question, does Dragon Ball Super need Super Saiyan 4? I mean, it's definitely possible for Super Saiyan 4 to be brought into Dragon Ball Super, whether it be through Broly's Ikari state or even this new idea that Beerus' powers are connected to Saiyan history. Story importance isn't necessarily an issue because now that both of those scenarios have been introduced to us, SSJ4 could naturally flow into the future of DBS and wouldn't feel like out-of-place fan service to the fans. It would instead feel developed or foreshadowed. Plus, since DBS is no stranger from recreating non-canon aspects of Dragon Ball, I don't see why a fan favorite thing like Super Saiyan 4 wouldn't be taken into consideration, but do we really want Super Saiyan 4 to come back? There is always going to be that possibility that Dragon Ball Super could ruin what fans love about Super Saiyan 4, and that would either be drastically changing its design and concept, or making it into something that it was never supposed to be. If Super Saiyan 4 is brought back, I feel like it has to be done through Broly's Ikari state, because then it would still be the same old feral Super Saiyan 4 that everybody knows and loves. It would only be achievable by Broly though for the time being, unless if other characters found ways to tap straight into it, or the Ikari state, but that's a whole different discussion. Regardless, I would definitely take that over Super Saiyan 4 just randomly popping up as the secret to the power of a god of destruction, or if it was just another generic transformation that could rival the godly forms, because SSJ4 is much better and more special than that. As someone who isn't really a big fan of Super Saiyan 4, to the point that I demand it in everything, I'm able to see that there's a lot of potential for the form to be brought back, but if it isn't done in a way that matches the original conception of what the form was supposed to represent, I don't think I'd want to take the chance of having it be ruined. I would much rather have it be a relic of the past that I can look back at, remembering just how great it was in Dragon Ball GT. Fans of Super Saiyan 4 just need to sit back and think. Do they want Super Saiyan 4 to come back just because they want it to come back? Or would Super Saiyan 4 actually be meaningful to the development of characters and the way Dragon Ball's story progresses? If I had to answer whether or not Dragon Ball Super needed Super Saiyan 4, then I would have to say that it is not a necessity, especially for our main characters of Goku and Vegeta, but if done right, it could definitely help spark a new era of storytelling, and it would bring characters like Broly back into the main cast. And there we have it everyone, those are all of my thoughts on whether Dragon Ball Super needs to introduce Super Saiyan 4 or not. I don't think it's needed for the future of Dragon Ball, but if the series ever wanted to make it canon like what they did with Broly, it's definitely possible, and it would definitely be cool to see. Because don't get me wrong, even though I'm not the biggest fan of Super Saiyan 4, I do love the form. But now I want to hear what you have to say. Do you think it should pop up sometime in DBS, and if so, do you think it will help improve the story, or do you just want it because of nostalgia? Leave your comments down below and let's have a discussion. I would love to hear all your thoughts, so please comment down below, and while you're at it, go ahead and smash that thumbs up button to help push this video into YouTube's algorithm. The more likes this video has, the more likely it is that other Dragon Ball fans will see this video, and on top of that, it gives me an idea of how much you liked this video. So let's try and get the like goal for this video way up high. Let's get it into the hundreds. While you're at it, click that subscribe button and turn on post notifications by clicking that bell icon. That way, you'll be able to see whenever I upload a new video, and if you're a fan of all things Dragon Ball, you'll definitely want to stick around because I make a ton of content ranging from reviews, discussions, speculation videos, and I even do what if videos from time to time. If all that interests you, you'll definitely want to subscribe. As always though, thank you all so much for watching today's video, I hope you enjoyed. Until my next video though, I will be seeing all of you Dragon Ball fans later. See ya!